The football sailed through the crisp autumn air like a promise breaking, and I caught it square in the chest, except it wasn't a ball. It was his hand, steady and warm, pressing against my heart as if he'd known all along it was racing for him. "You good, Alex?" Jake murmured, his voice low under the roar of the crowd on TV, but his eyes weren't on the screen. They were on me, dark and searching, like he'd been waiting for the power to flicker out so we could finally see each other in the dim emergency light of truth. In that split second, with my brother's empty beer bottle still sweating on the table between us, I realized the game we'd been playing wasn't the one on the field. It was the one where I'd spent years pretending I didn't love my best friend's little brother. It was a Sunday in late October, the kind of day in our sleepy corner of suburban Chicago where the leaves turned the streets into a postcard of red and gold, and the wind off Lake Michigan carried that sharp bite that said winter was knocking. I'd grown up in this house on Elmwood Drive, a two-story colonial with creaky hardwood floors and a backyard that backed onto the forest preserve. Close enough to the city for dreams, far enough for secrets. My brother, Ryan, was the golden boy, quarterback in high school, now a sales rep for some tech firm downtown, always dragging his buddies over for game days like it was a religion. And Jake? Jake was the quiet one in the pack, Ryan's roommate from college, the guy who fixed cars on weekends and quoted Hemingway like it was small talk. He'd been around since I was 15, crashing on our couch after too many wings and IPAs, but I'd always been invisible to him. Just Ryan's kid brother, the high schooler buried in books and art sketches, not the guy who'd steal glances when he thought no one was looking. That afternoon started ordinary enough. Ryan had texted me at dawn. "Game day's here, bro, Bears versus Packers. Bring your ass and some nachos." I groaned into my pillow, my studio apartment in Wrigleyville feeling too empty for another solo hangover. At 23, I was supposed to have it figured out. Graphic design gig at a small agency, a rotation of dates that fizzled like cheap fireworks. But mostly, I was still the same Alex who'd come out to mom and dad in a rainstorm 2 years back, their hugs tighter than the lightning cracks outside. Ryan had taken it in stride, slapping my back like I just won a bet. But Jake had been at the kitchen table that night, nursing coffee, his silence louder than thunder. By kickoff, the living room was a war zone of chip bags and remote controls. Ryan sprawled on the recliner, yelling obscenities at the refs, while I perched on the edge of the couch, sketching absent-mindedly in my notebook, a habit that kept my hands busy when my mind wandered. Jake sat next to me, close enough that his knee brushed mine when he leaned forward. His flannel shirt rolled to the elbows, revealing forearms dusted with grease from tinkering on his old Mustang that morning. "Pass the dip," he said, not looking up, but his fingers lingered on mine as he took the bowl, sending a jolt straight to my gut. The Bears were down by 7 in the second quarter, the tension thick as the chili Ryan had simmering in the crock pot. I tried to focus on the play, Mitchell fumbling the handoff, the crowd's gasp echoing through the speakers, but every time Jake shifted, his cologne hit me. Cedar and motor oil, the scent of late-night garage talks I'd eavesdropped on as a teen. "Think they'll pull it off?" I asked, voice casual like my pulse wasn't hammering. He chuckled, low and rough. "With this D-line? Nah. But stranger things have happened." His eyes flicked to me then, holding just a beat too long, and I swear the room tilted. Ryan hollered something about a holding call, oblivious, and the moment shattered. But it lingered, like the afterimage of a flare. Halftime came with the score tied, and Ryan bolted for the bathroom, muttering about needing to strategize over his phone. The room fell quiet, save for the muted ads blaring infomercials for grills and trucks. Jake stretched, his shirt riding up to show a sliver of tan skin above his belt, and I swallowed hard, forcing my gaze back to my sketch. A half-formed portrait of the lake at dusk, waves like whispered confessions. "You ever think about getting out of here?" he asked suddenly, voice soft, like he was testing the waters. I blinked, caught off guard. "Out of Chicago?" "Yeah. Somewhere with mountains, maybe. Or the coast. Ryan's all talk about promotions, but you've got that look, Alex, like you're drawing escape routes in your head." I laughed it off, but my chest tightened. How did he see that? The restlessness that kept me up, scrolling job listings in Portland or Austin, places where I could breathe without the weight of family expectations. "Maybe. You offering to drive? His smile was slow, crooked. In the Mustang? Hell yeah. Top down, no maps. Then the lights flickered. Once, twice, and plunged us into shadow. Ryan's curse echoed from down the hall. Power's out. Grid's a joke. We sat there in the half-dark. The TV a blue glow of static. The game's roar reduced to white noise. Jake's knee pressed against mine again. Deliberate this time, and neither of us moved. Storm's coming, he said, but his voice was gravel. Eyes locked on the window where rain began to patter against the glass. It was then, in that suspended breath, that Ryan stumbled back in, phone flashlight blazing. Generators shot. We're dark till morning. He flopped down, cracking open another beer from the cooler. Story time, boys. Remember that time in college when Jake here streaked the quad after the Michigan game? Jake groaned, but his hand, his hand, slid to my thigh under the blanket we'd thrown over our laps against the chill. A secret anchor in the chaos. I froze, heart slamming like a drumline, the unexpected weight of it all crashing over me. This wasn't just proximity. This was intention. The rain picked up, drumming a frantic rhythm on the roof. And as Ryan rambled on, oblivious, I turned my head just enough to meet Jake's gaze. In the faint light from his phone, his expression was raw, vulnerable, hungry, and I knew, with a certainty that terrified me, that the power outage was the least of what had gone dark. Something had ignited, and there was no putting it out. We played cards by candlelight after that, Ryan dominating with his trash talk, but the air hummed with unspoken electricity. Jake's touches grew bolder. A brush of fingers when passing the deck, a lean-in whisper about a bad bluff that sent shivers down my spine. By the time the candles guttered low, exhaustion pulling at us, Ryan yawned and headed upstairs. Crash on the couch, Jake. Alex, you know the drill. Guest room's yours. But as Ryan's footsteps faded, Jake didn't move. He sat there, elbows on knees, staring at the flickering flame. You believe in signs, Alex? I hesitated, the room shrinking around us. Like what? Like this. He gestured vaguely, storm, blackout, us, then, quieter. Or like knowing when you've been blind to what's right in front of you. My breath caught. The hook was set, reeling me in, and I didn't fight it. Jake! He stood, closing the distance in 2 strides, his hand cupping my jaw with a gentleness that belied the storm in his eyes. Our lips met in the candle's dying glow, soft at first, tentative, then deepening like the rain outside, a release of years pent up. It was everything. Fear, fire, the taste of salt from forgotten tears. But as we broke apart, gasping, the front door rattled. Wind? No. Ryan's voice from the stairs. You guys hear that? Sounded like a branch hit the porch. The moment shattered, but the fracture lines remained, spiderwebbing through the night. We pulled apart, hearts pounding, and I retreated to the guest room, the kiss burning like a brand. Sleep evaded me, the storm raging on, mirroring the one inside. What had we done? What came next? Morning broke gray and sodden, the power humming back to life with a reluctant buzz. Ryan was all business, frying eggs and griping about the game's blacked-out finish. Overtime highlights waiting on his phone. Jake avoided my eyes over breakfast, his jaw tight, but when Ryan stepped out for coffee run, he cornered me by the sink. Last night, that wasn't a fluke. I know, I whispered, pulse racing anew. But Ryan's my best friend, your brother. We can't just. The doorbell cut him off, sharp as a whistle. Ryan's truck was already rumbling away, so I answered it. A delivery guy, soaked, thrusting a soggy package at me. For Ryan Whitaker? Inside was a box of old college memorabilia, framed photos, a championship jersey. Jake peered over my shoulder, and there it was. A picture of the 3 of us at a tailgate, arms slung around each other, grins wide. But in the background, blurred but unmistakable, was a shot of Jake and another guy. Some ex, I guessed, kissing under string lights. Jake's face paled. That's old news. But it planted the seed. a whisper of doubt amid the thrill. As Ryan returned, steaming mugs in hand, the day dragged on with forced normalcy. Replays, laughs, the easy rhythm of brotherhood. Yet under it all, Jake's glances lingered, promises in the spaces between words. By evening, as they headed out for beers at the local dive, Jake hung back. "Meet me later?" The pier by the lake. Midnight. I nodded, the hook sinking deeper. Little did I know, the line was fraying, betrayal lurking in the shadows of trust. Midnight found me pacing the lakeshore path, the wind whipping off Michigan like a scorned lover, carrying the faint tang of fish and freedom. The pier stretched out like a skeletal finger into the black water, buoys clanging a mournful tune. I'd bundled up, hoodie over my jacket, hands shoved deep in pockets. But the chill was more than weather. It was anticipation laced with dread. What was I doing? Sneaking out to meet my brother's best friend after a kiss that upended my world. One moment of weakness, and now everything teetered on the edge. Headlights sliced the dark, and there was Jake's Mustang, purring to a stop on the gravel overlook. He stepped out, collar popped against the gusts, and for a heartbeat, we just stood there, silhouettes against the moonlit waves, before he closed the gap, pulling me into a hug that smelled of rain and resolve. "Couldn't sleep," he admitted, lips brushing my ear. Kept replaying it. "You." "Me too." My voice cracked, raw. We walked the pier in silence at first, hands grazing, the wood creaking underfoot like old bones. The city skyline twinkled distant, a reminder of lives unfolding without us. "Tell me about you, Alex. The real stuff, not the sketches or the job, the dreams you hide." I exhaled, the words tumbling out like they'd been damned too long. Growing up in Ryan's shadow, the straight-A brother who threw perfect spirals, while I doodled queer icons in margins, terrified of the label. Coming out. Mom's quiet tears, Dad's awkward golf metaphors about swinging your own way. The parade of apps dates that left me hollow, craving connection over conquest. "I want something real," I finished, staring at the horizon. "Not just nights, a life." Jake stopped, turning me to face him. His eyes, silvered by moonlight, held galaxies of regret. "I get that. More than you know." Then he kissed me again. Not the frantic spark of last night, but slow, deliberate, like mapping a new country. Hands in hair, breaths mingling. The world narrowed to the salt on his tongue, and the way he fit against me, solid and sure. We talked for hours after, perched on the pier's edge, legs dangling over the abyss. He opened up. The garage his dad left him after the cancer took him young, the way fixing engines was therapy for a heart cracked open. College with Ryan, wild parties masking Jake's quiet grappling with his own sexuality. A fumbling hookup that ended in rumors and a hasty transfer. "I buried it," he said, voice thick. "For Ryan. For the bro code. Didn't want to lose the one family I had left. And now," pressed, heart in throat. "Now, seeing you, grown up, fierce, not hiding anymore, it cracked something open. Last night, the storm. It was like permission." We drove back slow, windows down despite the cold, Springsteen crooning about Thunder Roads on the radio. He dropped me at my door with a final kiss, whispering, "This is ours. We'll figure it." The next weeks blurred into a secret symphony. Game days became alibis. Ryan none the wiser as Jake and I stole moments in the kitchen, fingers intertwining under counters, coded glances across the coffee table. Weeknights, we'd meet at dive bars on the north side, nursing whiskeys and swapping stories under neon glows. Jake's laugh, deep, unguarded, became my favorite sound, chasing away the loneliness I'd worn like a second skin. One crisp November evening, after a brutal loss to the Lions, Ryan hosted a pity party. Pizza, pitchers, his work buddies piling in. The living room pulsed with testosterone and trash talk, but Jake and I gravitated to the back porch, breaths fogging in the chill. "Run away with me," he murmured, half joking, as we shared a stolen cigarette. His habit, my curiosity. "Where?" I grinned, high on the recklessness. California.
Big Sur.
Wake up to waves, no hiding. My stomach flipped, tempting, terrifying. Ryan would kill us. He'd get over it. Eventually. But doubt flickered in his eyes, a shadow I ignored. The conflict simmered beneath the romance, bubbling up in small betrayals of omission. I'd catch Jake checking his phone, face tightening at texts from Ryan. Dude, road trip next month? Vegas, boys' weekend. Jake would pocket it quick, but the guilt etched lines around his mouth. And me? I dodged Mom's calls about finding a nice girl, the lie sticking like tar. Then came Thanksgiving, the family gauntlet. Our house swelled with aunts, uncles, turkey aromas thick as fog. Jake was there as Ryan's +1, blending seamless, charming the relatives with tales of carburetors and craft brews. Under the table, his foot hooked mine, a tether in the chaos. But as pie was served, Dad pulled me aside in the den. Son, you seem lighter, good lighter. Whoever's putting that smile on your face. Hold on. I nearly choked on my cider. How much did he suspect? Later, washing dishes with Jake, suds flying, he leaned in. Love you, Alex. The words hung simple and seismic. Love you too. I breathed, the soapy sponge forgotten. But the high crashed mid-dinner cleanup. Ryan, buzzed on wine, clapped Jake on the back. Man, you're like the brother I never had. What would I do without you? Jake's smile faltered, and in that beat, I saw the fracture. Loyalty pulling one way, heart the other. That night, alone in my old room, I scrolled Jake's old socials. Procrastination, not snooping. But there it was, a tagged photo from 2 years back, Jake arm in arm with that ex from the box, captions about forever teams, comments from mutuals, Ryan's crew complete. My gut twisted. Had he ever told Ryan? Or was I just the latest secret? I confronted him the next day, neutral ground. A coffee shop in Andersonville, rainbow flags fluttering outside like warnings. That guy. Did Ryan know? Jake's mug paused midair. It was college. Fleeting. Ryan. He suspected, but we never talked. Brothers don't. Brothers don't what? Lie. The words sharpened, hurt lancing through. It's not like that. You're different. Real. But the seed sprouted thorns. Paranoia crept in. Every delayed text. Every work-late excuse. Romance soured with suspicion. Our stolen nights laced with questions. Trust me? He'd plead, pulling me close. But the kisses felt like bandages over wounds. December dawned with snow dusting the streets, blanketing sins in white. We tried to reclaim joy. A weekend cabin up in Wisconsin, Ryan's guy's ski trip cover. The lodge was rustic heaven. Crackling fire, mulled wine. No signal to tether us to reality. We skied like kids, tumbling into powder, laughter echoing. That night, tangled in flannel sheets, barriers down, he traced my scars, invisible ones from rejections past, and whispered futures. A garage in the Rockies, my designs on his shop walls, a life unapologetic. I'd leave it all for you, he vowed, and in the firelight I believed. But betrayal waits for the thaw. Back home, Ryan cornered me over beers in the garage, his domain, tools gleaming like accusations. You and Jake. What's up? He's been weird. Distant. My blood iced. What? No, we're good. Ryan eyed me sharp. Look, I love the guy. But if he's messing with you. Messing? Ryan, it's not. He held up a hand. I saw the way he looks at you. Like you're the damn Lombardi trophy. Just be careful. Bro secrets have a way of exploding. The warning lodged like shrapnel. That evening, Jake texted, need to talk. My place.
Urgent.
Heart pounding, I drove through flurries, arriving to find him pacing the apartment. Boxes half-packed, Ryan's old couch sagging in the corner. What's this? I demanded, gesturing. He stopped, face ashen. Job offer. Seattle. Big shop, fresh start. I was gonna tell you. Bring you. Relief warred with rage. When? After you decide for both of us. It's an out, Alex. from this half-life. And Ryan? You gonna ghost him too? His jaw clenched. No, I'll tell him. Everything. The fight erupted then. Words like fists. My fears of abandonment, his frustration at the closet we'd built. I can't lose him, he shouted. He's all I had after Dad. And me? Collateral? We collapsed onto the couch, spent, his head in my lap as sobs racked him. I'm scared, he admitted, of choosing wrong. I stroked his hair, resolve hardening. Then don't. Choose us. But as he nodded, phone buzzing. Ryan? Where you at? Emergency brew sesh. The lie thickened, a noose tightening. Christmas Eve snow blanketed Chicago in hush, transforming the magnificent mile into a glittering fairy tale. But for me, it was a veil over the gathering storm. Jake and I had patched the rift with fragile thread. Late-night drives to the planetarium, where we'd lie under the dome, stars projected like possibilities, his hand in mine as constellations spun tales of enduring orbits. This is us, he'd say, pointing to Orion's belt. Steady through the dark. Yet doubt gnawed a rodent in the walls. Ryan's warning echoed, and I'd started noticing cracks. Jake's hesitation at public spots, opting for dim corners. The way he'd flinch if a barista misgendered our date vibe. Humanistic as our love felt. Two souls forging light from Midwest gloom. It was laced with the era's undercurrents. The subtle homophobia in sideways glances. The weight of don't ask, don't tell echoes in civilian life. New Year's loomed. A deadline in disguise. Jake's Seattle offer deadline, January 15th. We'd vowed to decide together, but tension simmered. Ryan, sensing the shift, ramped up bro time, NHL games at the United Center, post-shift burgers at Billy Goat's, leaving me the odd man out or in, depending on the lie. One frosty night, after a Blackhawks thriller, Ryan dragged us to a rooftop bar overlooking the river, fireworks prepping for the ball drop. The place buzzed. Couples toasting, laughter cutting the cold. Jake and I stuck to shadows, nursing hot toddies, but Ryan, ever the instigator, pulled us into a circle of his coworkers, all straight-laced finance bros swapping conquest stories. Jake here's the king, Ryan boasted, sloshing his drink. Remember that sorority formal, man? You had M lined up. Jake forced a grin, but his grip on my arm under the high top bruised. Ancient history, Come on, spill. Alex needs to hear the legend. Ryan winked at me, oblivious. The words stuck in my throat like glass. I excused myself to the railing, staring at the frozen Chicago River, lights dancing on ice like fractured dreams. Jake followed, murmuring apologies into my neck. It's nothing. You know that.
Doi.
I turned, voice low. Feels like I'm the side quest. His eyes flashed hurt. Never. You're the whole damn game. We kissed there, hidden by the throng, quick, desperate. But a cheer erupted nearby, masks slipping back on. Ryan hollered us over for shots, and the night devolved into blur. Countdowns, confetti, Jake's arm around my waist in the cab home. Ryan passed out in the back. January bit hard. Winds howling like banshees off the lake. Jake threw himself into work, grease under nails while I buried in deadlines. Mock-ups for a queer youth nonprofit, irony thick. Our nights were sanctuaries. Cooking pasta in his cramped kitchen, debating Scorsese films till dawn, bodies entwined in wordless affirmation. Romance bloomed in details. A mixtape of Bon Iver tracks left on my dash. His flannel draped over my chair like a claim. But conflict crested on a slate-gray Saturday. Ryan called an intervention brunch at our favorite diner. Formica tables, bottomless Joe, the works. He slid into the booth, face grim. We gotta talk. About you too. My fork clattered. Jake went still beside me. Look, I'm not blind. The looks, the vanishing X. If you're together, just say it. I'm your brother, Alex. And you, Jake, my ride or die. Secrets? They rot us. Silence stretched, taut as a goalie's glove. Jake's hand found mine under the table, squeezing. Addy. It's real. Has been for months. Ryan blinked, processing. Then slow. Shit. Okay. Why hide? Fear, I admitted, voice small. Of this, of losing you. He leaned back, rubbing his neck. A Whitaker tell for discomfort. Lose me? Brothers forever, idiot. But, damn, Jake, you could have led with that in college. Saved me the wingman gigs. Laughter broke the ice, tentative, then genuine. Hugs followed, fierce, backslapping. And for a golden hour, it felt conquered. Family unbroken, love claimed. Ryan even cracked jokes. Double dates now? Mom's gonna need therapy. We parted buoyant, Jake and I stealing to the lakefront for air. Told you, he grinned, spinning me in the slush. The world's ending, and it's beautiful. But betrayal, that sly fox, had other plans. That night, as snow squalls raged, my phone lit with a text from an unknown. Ask your boy about Seattle, and who he's going with. Attached. A screenshot, Jake's email chain. Acceptance letter forwarded to Ryan. Hey man, taking the job. Road trip up? You in? My world tilted. Not us to Seattle, him and Ryan. Bro's escape, me erased. I confronted him at dawn, pounding on his door, fury a blizzard in my veins. What the hell, Jake? He opened bleary-eyed, confusion morphing to horror as I shoved the phone at him. Alex, wait. It's not. You're leaving with him? After everything. I was gonna rescind. Today. Swear. He pulled me inside. Frantic. The email's old. Before I froze it when I chose us. But doubt was a venom spreading. Chose? Or stalled? We tore into each other. Accusations flying. His fear of change, my insecurities chokehold. I can't keep proving, he yelled. Trust or don't. I want to, I sobbed. But it hurts, like I'm always the afterthought. He crumpled, pulling me down. You're not. God, you're everything. We made up in tears, promises renewed, but the scar tissue pulled tight. The climax brewed through Valentine's. Roses from Jake hidden in my desk. A stolen weekend in Door County, Wisconsin, where dunes met ice-rimmed waves, and we walked hand in hand, no hiding. Marry me someday, he whispered into the wind. When the world's ready. I laughed, tears freezing on lashes. It's ready for us. But back in the city, the axe fell. Ryan called a summit, neutral turf, his office downtown, glass walls overlooking the loop. Guys, I know about Seattle. Jake mentioned it. Thought it'd be cool. 3 Musketeers, new chapter. Jake's face drained. 3. Yeah, Alex too. Fresh starts all around. The room spun. Jake hadn't told him, no, worse, he'd let the assumption fester. A half-truth ballooning. Betrayal hit like a blindside tackle. Not malice, but cowardice. The man who'd fixed my heart had left it idling, afraid to shift gears. I bolted, elevator dinging like a death knell, streets blurring in tears. Jake chased, catching me at the L platform. I messed up, panicked. Please, go to Seattle, I choked. With him, without the mess of me. Alex, no. The train screeched in, doors hissing open. I stepped on, heart shattering as it pulled away, his silhouette shrinking, a ghost in the crowd. The weeks post-Valentine's were a grayscale purgatory, Chicago's winter mirroring my soul. Endless slush, skies like leaden eyelids, the lake a roiling beast churning up ice flows like discarded regrets. I ghosted Jake, deleted threads, threw myself into work. Designs for a pride float that mocked my solitude. Vibrant colors clashing with the void inside. Ryan's texts piled up. Talk to me, bro. What's the deal? But I couldn't face the collateral, the brother caught in crossfire. Nights were worst. Empty apartment echoing with phantom laughs. The bed too vast without his sprawl. I'd walk the Division Street bars, not hunting but haunting, nursing sodas amid the flirtations, wondering if love was just a temporary malfunction. Humanistic threads pulled me through, volunteering at a youth center, where wide-eyed kids shared coming-out war stories, their resilience a balm. It gets better, I'd say, meaning it for them, willing it for me. Jake's attempts pierced the armor. Flowers at my door, wilted by the time I found them, voicemails raw with plea. I rescinded the offer. Stayed for you. Call me. One rainy Tuesday, he cornered me outside the agency. Rain sheeting down, his jacket soaked through. 5 minutes. Please. We ducked into a diner, fluorescent hum underscoring the ache. I was scared, he started, hands trembling around coffee, of dragging you into my mess. Ryan's my anchor, always has been. Thought if I fixed that first. Fixed, I echoed, bitter. Like I'm the glitch? No. God, no. You're the upgrade. His eyes, red-rimmed, searched mine. I love you, Alex. Fiercely. But love's not clean. It's this messy, terrifying. Tears mixed with rain on my cheeks. Then why does it feel like drowning? Because we haven't let go of the shore. He reached across, tentative. Together. I pulled back, the conflict a chasm. I need time to trust again. He nodded, defeated. Take it. I'll wait. Spring teased with false thaws. Crocuses pushing through mud, but my heart stayed frozen. Ryan ambushed me at Mom's Easter brunch, the dining room fragrant with ham and hyacinths. He's a wreck, Alex. Calls me at 3 a.m., rambling about stars and second chances. Stay out of it, I snapped, fork stabbing potatoes. Can't. Your family. Both of you. His voice softened. I pushed too hard. The bro code? Screw it. Love's the code now. The words landed soft, humanistic nudge. Mom, eavesdropping from the kitchen, chimed in. Your father's right. Swings both ways, hearts do. We laughed, brittle, but it cracked the ice. April bloomed, betrayal's autopsy. I dug into Jake's past. Not stalking research. Mutual friends' tales of his college ghosting that ex, vanishing after rumors hit the frat. He ran, one said over beers. From himself. It humanized him. Flawed, not villain, but amplified the fear. Was I next? Yet romance's embers glowed. A package arrived. Sketchbook, pages filled with his scrawls. Our pier at midnight, cabin firelight, clumsy hearts around my name. Note, drawing our way back. Yours, Jay. I cracked. Texting. Coffee? Neutral. The cafe was neutral as promised, upscale, anonymous bustle. He arrived early, nervous energy crackling, ordering my usual latte without asking. We talked circles. Small first, bears draft picks, my latest project, then deeper, wounds airing like laundry. I betrayed us by not fighting sooner, he confessed. Hid behind Ryan, like a kid. And I betrayed by doubting, I admitted. Pushed you away when you needed pull. Forgiveness flowed tentative, a bridge of words. By Mug's end, hands linked across Formica. The spark reignited, subtle, but there. We rebuilt slow. No grand gestures, just consistency. Walks in Lincoln Park, where cherry blossoms rained pink confetti. Movie nights at my place, his head on my shoulder during rom-coms we mocked but mirrored. Sex stayed sacred, unspoken. Kisses deepening, but boundaries held. The emotional, the erotic. May's warmth coaxed vulnerability. One twilight, atop the Art Institute steps, Picasso's lovers gazing eternal. Jake dropped to one knee. Not proposal, but plea. Be my partner. Officially. Labels, fights, all in. Tears blurred the skyline. Yes. But climax loomed, dramatic as a lake gale. Ryan planned a reconciliation barbecue. Backyard blowout, ribs smoking, old crew invited. It was meant healing but unearthed ghosts. Midway through, beers flowing. A tipsy uncle cornered Jake. Heard you're queer now? Ryan okay with that? The yard hushed. Jake stiffened, but Ryan stepped in, arm around him. More than okay. Family's family. Cheers erupted, but later, by the fire pit, Jake pulled me aside, voice quake. That could have gone south. Still might. It didn't, I soothed. We're out. Free. Yet doubts whisper. For how long? June sweltered, humidity thick as unresolved tension. Jake's garage buzzed with a big job, restoring a '67 Camaro for a client, and he invited me to help, paint-splattered afternoons turning flirtatious. One evening, as sun dipped, engine purring to life, he turned, "Drive with me. Anywhere." We did endless loop of Lakeshore Drive, windows down, wind singing. At the Adler we parked, stargazing from hood, his stories weaving constellations into our narrative. But betrayal's echo resounded in July heatwave. A client dinner mine, schmoozing execs, and Jake tagged as +1, our first public flex. Smooth till a colleague, slurring, quipped, "Wait, you two? Like, together?" Ryan, no. Word spread. By dessert, Ryan's text, "WTF? Barbecue drama over? Or just starting?" Jake's phone blew up next. Old college pals, mixed, support, shade. "Told you," he muttered in the cab home. "World's not ready." "It is," I insisted. "For us." The fight that night was cataclysmic. Accusations of naivety, fear-mongering. "You're ashamed," I hurled. "I'm protecting," he roared. Doors slammed. Silence descended. I crashed at Ryan's, who opened with sigh. "Round 2? Talk it out, idiots." Morning brought clarity. Jake showed hollow-eyed. "I overreacted. The noise. It drowns the quiet we built." We hugged it out on the porch, Ryan mediating with coffee. "Love's not easy," he said, "but worth the bruises." August cooled tempers, romance resurging. A road trip, our own, to the Badlands, South Dakota spires like nature's cathedrals. We hiked, hearts sinking to canyon echoes, camping under Milky Way's sprawl. There, by fire, he carved our initials in ash. ANJ, eternal as erosion. Back, conflict crested anew. Jake's ex resurfaced, email, innocuous. "Heard you're out. Happy for you. Coffee? Closure." Jake showed me transparent. "Ignore." But jealousy flared. "What if it's not?" "Trust test," he said. We did, blocked, deleted, but the scare bonded us deeper. September's equinox marked pivot. Ryan's wedding announcement. His fiancée, sweet Sarah. Rings exchanged over Labor Day. "You two best men?" He grinned. Honor swelled. Tears pricked. At the engagement party, toasts flowed. To family redefined, love's uncloseted. Yet suspense built. Jake's restlessness, glances west. "Ever think about it still? Seattle? Only with you?" I lied, fear coiling. October circled back. Leaves flaming. Anniversary of that stormy kiss. We recreated. Game on TV. Power out. Faked. Candles ready. Laughter led to love. Whispers of forever. But the hook yanked hard. A letter in Jake's mail. Draft notice? No, worse. Inheritance dispute from his aunt. Tying him to Chicago or lose the garage. "Stay or sell," he agonized. "Sell," I urged. "New start." His eyes lit. Together. The decision crystallized, but betrayal's final twist waited in wings. November's chill heralded harvest of truths. Pumpkins lining stoops like lanterns guiding home. Jake and I dove into wedding prep, Ryan's big day in June, our roles cementing bonds. Tuck's fittings turned playful. Jake's tease about tying the knot next, sparking dreams. Romance deepened. Quiet dinners at Hidden Gems. His hand in mine at indie films. The world softening its edges. But conflict's undercurrent pulled strong. The inheritance fight escalated, lawyers' calls. Jake's stress etching furrows. "It's not just bricks," he confessed one night, head in lap. "Dad's legacy. Our future. We build new," I murmured, fingers tracing his temple. Ryan, sensing, offered mediation. Family dinner, no holds barred. Over pot roast, truth spilled. Jake's fears of loss, my terror of stagnation. "You're not losing," Ryan said. "Evolving." Humanistic grace. We compromised, Jake keeping the shop, expanding with my designs, queer-owned auto art. December danced in with lights and lies unveiled. Holiday party at the agency. My coming out, subtle. Jake on arm, intros as partner. Cheers mixed with stares, but pride swelled. A beacon. Yet climax crashed like a nor'easter. New Year's Eve. Atop Willis Tower. City sprawled below like a jeweled promise. Ryan's crew, Sarah beaming, countdown ticking. Jake pulled me to a corner, ring box glinting, simple band, silver promise. Marry me, Alex. Not tomorrow, but soon. Be my forever. Joy exploded. Yes on lips as ball dropped. Cheers deafening. Kisses amid confetti whirled hours. But betrayal's sting, deferred, struck post-midnight. Back home. Unpacking. Jake's phone chirped, unlocked on counter. Message from Seattle contact. Offer reinstated. Room for two. Heard about the engagement. Congrats. Bring him. Confusion creased. Digging emails, hidden folder. Jake had reapplied. Secretly. Just in case. Weeks back, during stress peak. Backup, he'd call it, but to me, sabotage. Heart fracturing. I waited his return from bathroom. Explain. His face crumpled, box forgotten. Alex, it was fear. The fight, the inheritance, I panicked. Thought if we needed out. Without telling me? Voice broke. After trust talks? I'm the fool again. No. I deleted the thread. Meant to. Lies stack, Jake. This one's avalanche. He begged on knees. I choose you. Always. But damage cascaded, doubts flooding, romance's foundation sand. I need space, I whispered. Real this time. He left at dawn. Mustang fading into slushy streets. Ryan's call following. What happened? Fix it. January froze us apart, me in therapy. Unpacking patterns. My abandonment scars from Dad's long hours, Jake's from loss. Sessions humanistic. Love as mirror, reflecting growth pains. February thawed tentative. Coffee, no strings. Eyes met, sparks faint but there. I sold the backups, he said. All in now. Forgive, I echoed. Working on it. Spring rebuilt brick by brick. Therapy joint. Ryan's nudge. Weddings heal. His June nuptials. Us in tandem best man suits. Vows echoing ours unspoken. At reception, under tent strung with lights, Jake swayed me slow dance. Still, I breathed. Climax resolved not in thunder, but rain's patter. August proposal redux, our pier, sunset gilding waves. No box, just words. Raw. I falter, but fall for you daily. Marry this mess. Laughter tears. Yes, mess and all. Betrayal scar faded to lesson. Trust earned, not assumed. We planned small courthouse, then road trip honeymoon. Mustang loaded with dreams. Fall wove closure. Garage rebranded Whitaker Works. Ryan's investment. My murals on walls. Jake's engines humming queer anthems on radio. Ryan's toast at opening. To brothers, blood and chosen. To love that bends. Never breaks. Winter's end. Vows exchanged under cherry blossoms. Intimate. Mom's tears joyful. Dad's grip firm. Proud swing son. Jake's eyes, vowing. Through storms and signs. Years blurred. Shop thrived. My art bloomed. Graphic novels of hidden loves. Midwest hearts. Conflicts came. Fights over finances. Family drifts. But romance endured, deepened by trials. Humanistic arc. We mended not just us, but ripples. Mentoring youth. Ryan's allyship fierce. One autumn eve. Game day redux. Bears winning, power steady. Jake's hand in mine. Ryan across, family whole. To unexpected, he toasts. And in that glow I know. The hook set true, line strong. Love the catch of a lifetime.